Hello, beloved drama devotees, fierce shippers, and late-night scrollers who live for the next tear-jerking twist. It's your faithful narrators from TV Day's Drama Digest, the channel that never sleeps when Salem's secrets are spilling. Grab your tissues, your favorite mug of midnight cocoa, and settle in, because tonight we're diving headfirst into the emotional cyclone that has gripped days of our lives for months. The fate of the tiniest, most fought-over bundle of joy in daytime history. Baby Tesoro ***. Will Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree finally hear the words they've been dreaming of since the first moment they cradled that precious boy in their arms? Will the adoption papers be signed, sealed, and framed above a nursery painted in the softest pastels Salem has ever seen? Or will fate, cruel, capricious, and soap opera certified, yank happiness away at the 11th hour? Buckle up, friends. This is going to be a 2,000-word roller coaster of hope, heartbreak, and the kind of love that makes even the most jaded viewer believe in miracles. Picture this: the DiMera mansion at dawn. Golden light spills through the arched windows of the grand living room, dust motes dancing like tiny fairies over antique furniture that has seen more schemes than most governments. Johnny DiMera, yes, that Johnny, the one whose cheekbones could cut glass and whose heart has been bruised by more family betrayals than we can count, stands frozen in the doorway of the kitchen. His phone is pressed to his ear, knuckles white. Chanel Dupree, radiant even in yoga pants and one of Johnny's old UCLA t-shirts, is mid-sip of her vanilla oat milk latte when she notices. The mug trembles. Coffee sloshes onto the marble countertop like a bad omen. "Johnny?" Her voice is barely a whisper, but it cracks like thunder in the silence. "Who is it?" He can't speak. Not yet. The social worker's voice on the other end is calm, measured, devastatingly official. "Mr. DiMera, Ms. Dupree, the biological father has signed the voluntary termination of parental rights. Effective immediately, the adoption of baby boy Tesoro may proceed. Congratulations, you are now his legal parents." The phone slips from Johnny's hand. It clatters to the floor, screen cracking in a spiderweb that somehow feels symbolic. Chanel's latte joins it a second later, ceramic shards exploding like confetti at a wedding nobody planned. And then, the tears come. Not delicate, soap opera single teardrop tears. No. These are ugly, guttural, soul-shaking sobs that rack their bodies as they collapse into each other's arms right there on the cold marble, morning light haloing them like a Renaissance painting titled Redemption. They don't hear the front door open. They don't see Belle Brady, lawyer, sister, eternal optimist in the face of DiMera chaos, step inside, folder in hand, eyes already brimming. She doesn't need to speak. The papers fluttering from her grip say everything. It's official. Baby Tesoro is theirs, ***. But before we drown in the champagne of joy, and trust us, Paulina Price has already ordered cases from the finest vineyard in Napa. We must walk through the valley of a man who will never hold his son. Aaron Green, once a fleeting spark in Nicole Walker's complicated love life, sits alone in the Brady pub, nursing a club soda because alcohol can't numb this kind of pain. The jukebox plays something mournful. Is that Hurt by Johnny Cash? Of course it is. Tate Black, ever the loyal friend despite his own romantic disasters, slides into the booth opposite him. "You okay, man?" Aaron laughs, but it's the sound of a heart splintering. "I didn't even know, Tate. I didn't know he existed until the DNA test. And now I've signed away the only chance I'll ever have to be somebody's dad." His fingers trace the condensation on his glass, drawing a tiny, invisible T. "I keep thinking, what if I'd fought? What if I'd shown up at the hospital, demanded my rights? But then I see Johnny and Chanel with him, and I know. That kid deserves the world. And I'm not the one who can give it to him." Tate doesn't offer platitudes. He just reaches across the table and squeezes Aaron's shoulder. Outside, Salem's autumn leaves swirl like confetti at a funeral nobody attended. Aaron's parental rights are gone, vanished with a stroke of a pen, but the ghost of what might have been will haunt him for years. And honestly, we're not okay about it. Fast forward to the Horton Town Square, transformed into a fairy tale. Twinkling fairy lights drape from every lamppost. Paulina Price, grandmother extraordinaire and mayor with a flair for the dramatic, has declared it Tesoro Day, yes, an official proclamation, because when Paulina loves, she loves loud. Tables groan under the weight of sweet bits, cupcakes frosted in pale gold, each one stamped with a tiny T. A string quartet plays a lullaby version of Asterisk, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Asterisk, because subtlety is not in Paulina's vocabulary. Johnny and Chanel stand at the center of it all, baby Tesoro cradled in Chanel's arms. He's wearing a tiny knit cap embroidered with a crown, Paulina's doing, obviously. The crowd is a who's who of Salem. Marlena Evans, eyes misty behind her glasses. Belle, clutching the adoption decree like it's the Nobel Peace Prize. Even E.J. DiMera, who showed up just to ensure the paperwork was ironclad, but hasn't looked away from the baby once. Johnny clears his throat. The square falls silent. We've spent weeks, months, whispering names into this little guy's ear while he slept. We tried everything. Luca, Mateo, even Elvis, because Chanel thought it would be hilarious. A ripple of laughter. But nothing felt right. Until we remembered someone who's been gone too long, but whose spirit lives in every corner of this town. Chanel's voice joins his, steady despite the tears. John Black. Doc's husband, Alice's grandson, the man who taught us all what family really means. He was supposed to be here for this. He would have spoiled this baby rotten. She looks at Marlena, whose hand flies to her mouth. So today, in front of all of you, we're giving our son a name that honors the best of Salem. Everyone, meet Trey John DiMera Dupree. Trey, like John III. Because he's the next chapter of a legacy that started long before any of us. The applause is deafening. Paulina is openly bawling into a monogrammed handkerchief. Marlena steps forward, pressing a kiss to Trey's forehead. He'd be so proud, she whispers. And somewhere, in whatever afterlife soap operas grant their legends, John Black is smiling. Later that night, long after the last cupcake crumb has been swept away and Paulina has Instagrammed approximately 47 photos with the caption, "My grandbaby is perfection #Trey Day," Johnny and Chanel stand in the nursery they've been secretly decorating for months. It's a masterpiece of love, pale gray walls stenciled with tiny gold stars, a rocking chair that once belonged to Tom Horton, a mobile of paper cranes Chanel folded during sleepless nights of worry. Johnny hangs the final touch, a framed photo of Trey's first smile, taken just hours after the adoption was finalized. You know, he says, voice rough with exhaustion and wonder, I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. For someone to burst in and say it was all a mistake. Chanel sets Trey in his crib, tucking a soft blanket embroidered with T.D.D. around him. No more shoes, she murmurs. Just us. Just him. Just home. They stand there until the moon climbs high, hands entwined, watching their son breathe. Outside, Salem sleeps, but inside this room, a new story has begun. Of course, this is Days of Our Lives. Happiness is never permanent. Whispers are already circulating. Nicole's guilt over keeping Aaron in the dark. Sloane's mysterious return with a manila envelope labeled Tesoro. Phase 2. And because no DiMera heir is ever truly safe, rumors of a European branch of the family taking an interest in the newest edition. But for now? For tonight? Johnny and Chanel are parents. Trey John DiMera Dupree is loved beyond measure. And somewhere in the Horton Town Square, a single gold balloon still floats, caught in the branches of Tom and Alice's tree, shimmering like a promise. Will this family stay intact? Will Trey grow up knowing the chaos of his origins, or will Johnny and Chanel shield him with the kind of love that rewrites history? Only time and the writers will tell. Is Aaron's redemption arc coming, or is he destined for a tragic exit? And most importantly, what color should Paulina paint the nursery's accent wall? We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.